Hey guys, I hope you had an amazing Valentine's Day. If you did not, do not worry, I got you. Here's a recap of the Real Housewives of Miami, episode 14, Rage, Release, and Repeat. Well, this episode, it started off with Marisol surprising the girls and being on the trip. I thought she was not going to make it because she did have the COVID, but apparently she tested a false positive. So she's in the trip, she crosses the trip, and everyone is happy except for Adriana, who was right in the middle of talking to Alexia, trying to go through and talk about her issues with her and Marisol. And then for Marisol to just pop in that moment, oh my God, timeless. So everyone is happy except for Adriana. Adriana is pretty much eating her sandwich. She's like, Marisol is here, whatever. So all the girls are hanging out poolside and they kind of move away from, talking about drama and trying to enjoy their times there at the Bahamas. So you see Julia actually admiring Larsa getting into the pool in her bikini, saying how perfect she has no stretch marks on her butt. And I'm like, don't hype Miss Larsa up too much because, yeah, they may distract her from, stirring the pot. But don't hold your breath on that. So the girls are out and having fun. Kiki is having fun. Gertie is having fun. All the girls are poolside, laying out, chilling out. But, it's unfortunate that even though in this moment, Lisa can still think about Lenny. Julia actually asked her, how's it been going with Lenny? And, it's a bit uncomfortable for her to be on the trip and be away from the kids. And she kind of did some reflection on herself and she realized some of the faults that she made in the relationship. She did realize that Lenny did ask her to not go out as much, but she did. But she doesn't feel like because of that, it shouldn't be held over her head to go and cheat on her with a new woman. So she's just reflecting on some changes that she could have made. She did realize how derailed the relationship was and that she wishes that she could have made some changes. But I don't think that would have been enough to convince or to make someone want to stay with you. I felt like we all saw Lenny. He was checked out of the relationship. It was just a matter of time about when he's going to officially pull the trigger and, cut loose of this relationship. So Lisa said she did write a letter to express her feelings to Lenny. And the way she said that, I'm thinking she took a pen, a piece of paper, and she did a little scribble here and scribble there in cursive. Or do you think she writes in normal script? Like, I wonder how she writes. So I'm thinking she sent a whole letter off to Lenny, when in actuality, she just sent him a text because she said that he received it, but she thinks that he deleted it. So it wasn't a letter per se, paper and pen, as opposed it was just her sending out a text message. I'm like, damn, you really had me there. Because I know a lot of people, they say when they write things on pen and paper, it's like a way the mind can like process and put it thoughtfully into words how they're feeling. But text message, I don't think texting has that same kind of effect. Unless, do you think she actually typed like punch in each letter, or did she say it and it wrote the words for her? Because now I want to know and I want to see this text. Usually they have a moment where they can even show you a copy of what she said, but probably it was quite personal, and it is personal. So it's nice to see Lisa able to laugh about it and let it go. And you see her trying to move on. And Julia gives her great advice and says to her, just focus on you being a mom and also those kids. That's what you need to do, which is great advice. And I like that Julia's participating more and not being so much of a background, because she tends to be in the background kind of person in terms of different scenes. So it's unfortunate for Lisa, but I see she's being a little bit positive about it. So we get Adriana, and she still wants to keep her distance from Marisol. She's saying things like, "Oh, you tested positive for COVID," and Marisol's like, "No, it was false. It was inaccurate." But Adriana, she knows she has issues with Marisol, and she tells her that she would actually like to have a talk with her, and kind of talk about their relationship and how she feels like they have drifted apart. And Marisol is like, I did not leave from having COVID or thinking that I have COVID to come to a downer situation where we have to talk about like feelings. She much rather have cocktails, and I get Marisol. Like, when you go on vacation, you want to have fun. You don't want to have to go back and forth and argue. No one wants to do that. Like, come on. But Adriana, she's going through something because she's super, super, super sensitive, and the girls are picking up on that. And of course, how can you not? Adriana makes it so clear that she has these issues and she needs the attention. And I feel like she is valid in a way of saying that she has issues with Alexia, but I can also see Alexia has valid feelings too, why she has issues with Adriana, because Adriana, she doesn't communicate her issues in a way that the girls don't feel like you're taking a personal attack, or you're just taking a dig, or you're just doing this to give yourself a storyline, because it's hard to tell in this show. Maybe it's easier to tell if you have these talks off camera, but then we do need content. Like, come on, what are we watching here if not for the drama? But the girls, they question each other's intentions and why you're bringing this into a conversation in the first place. So Adriana, she felt like in talking to Marisol, that Marisol made it a point to exclude or oust Adriana away from Alexia's birthday party because she wasn't there. She just assumed that, oh, Adriana would not be available, so let's not even bother inviting. But I do think even if she wasn't going to be available, that she should at least have the invite as a formality so she can see that she was at least considered. Because come on, no one wants to feel out of the situation or not included. So I can see Adriana's point in that, and in addition, the girls, they are well connected in Miami, so they would have heard that Adriana was divorcing her husband. And the girls, they confirm, they say, yeah, we know. Because, of course, they know they're connected. And, they take pride of knowing all the information of what's going on in Miami to pretty much the top elite people there. And she said that if you knew, how come you never reached out? And I can understand Adriana's perspective, but also it's also a touchy situation, because how do you go and address someone about something so sad? Like, you don't know what level you are with a person when it comes to these kind of situations. You want to be cautious because you don't want the person to feel more sad about the situation, but you also want to focus on the positive too. Everyone has things going on. The girls mentioned that they had things they were going through, but Adriana said no, because you make sure you're available and you're there for me in the positive things. Like, for example, my wedding, these girls were her bridesmaids, so she's making it clear that you're only present when there's good times, but for bad times, you guys are nowhere to be found. She let the girls also know how much more she's going through that she holds in. And I didn't even realize this, that Adriana has such high cholesterol. Her cholesterol is 250. And the girls are like, oh my God, they're so shocked. So if you do, I feel like Adriana do also have to open up to them, because for them to be so shocked, they care. I mean, no one wants you to suffer with cholesterol. And Adriana said pretty much that she holds this in, and her mom doesn't even know. And the point of the girls is that if you hold all this in, you're gonna give yourself a stroke yourself. So you have to slow down. And the thing is that Adriana, she did this thing that to show how good of a friend she is to them as opposed to they are to her. She points out to Marisol that when Marisol broke up with her ex-boyfriend, that ex-boyfriend reached out to Adriana, and this was through an app apparently, and they communicated through the app, and he said to her, let's go on a date, let's go out, I'm trying to see you in a dinner date. And I'm like, Adriana, why are you telling her this now? Like, why are you telling her this now? What's the point of this? Like, if you knew how close her ex and Marisol were, why would you go ahead and bring this up now? That doesn't make you look like a good friend, because obviously if you a good friend would shut it down and not even give it life, not even entertain even a sentence with the ex. Come on. And then to top it off, which was cherry on top, Adriana, she says that her ex said to her that he never loved her. And I'm like, oof, that's a dig. You know, sometimes guys, they say things out of spite to get a certain reaction out of people. I don't think it's true. Like, why would you spend time with someone that you didn't love? Like, girl, bye. Like, boy, stop. So it then turned into a competition of who had the most bad events happen to them. And I'm like, this whole group is cursed. Like, somebody put something on all y'all. Like, all this, so much bad things happen in just a few days. Like, this whole season so far, like, everyone has been going through some hardships. So I'm like, it wasn't definitely Julia. I don't think Julia would put that on y'all and herself, because she also went through some hardships as well. So, you know, the reason why Adriana didn't want to tell this to Marisol, remember, is that she didn't want to hurt her. But ultimately, Marisol, she looked hurt. Like, there was no point to say that. And, you know, this guy is a guy who Marisol loved till it hurts. You know, she was saying in the episode that she got so skinny, so anorexic skinny, so thin that it was so damaging to her body. Like, this was a person that was so toxic for her, and for Adriana to bring it up as to show what is loyalty. No, that's like kicking a person down when they're already down. Like, that's not how you prove loyalty. So it's too much. So, switch of scene, guys. We see Alexia catch up with her boys back at home. She's doing a FaceTime with Frankie, and Frankie, of course, is spending time with his dad. So she's just checking up to making sure he's okay. And, you know, when he's with his dad, he's with his dad. So I felt like he was being nice and sweet with his mom, but, you know, he was ready to get off the phone. I thought that was so cute. We then get a scene with Larsa and Nicole, and they finally make up. Like, Larsa, she walks into her room and she gives her a hug and a kiss. I'm like, okay, has hell frozen over? Because what is this? And I think what happened here is that, you know, the situation with Alexia and Adriana is helping Larsa understand the situation with her and Nicole. So Larsa said that she didn't mean the things she said. And she actually gives an apology to Nicole. And Nicole, she feels so vindicated. She's happy. She gets up and give Larsa a hug. Like, that's all she wanted, all she needed. But when it comes to the confessionals, you know they're so shady in the confessionals. Nicole is like, I'm vindicated. And I'm like, hold on. And then Larsa, she shows up. She's like, in her confessional, she's saying, oh, I apologize for the back and forth. Like, she still means what she said, but she didn't want it to go back and forth. I'm like, Larsa, she's gonna see this. She's gonna see this. Come on. Why would you say that? Larsa? And I'm like, I want these two just to stop fighting. Ugh. Do I or do I not? I don't know yet. I don't know. Because I want Nicole to get into some other, like, something else. Like, I don't want this to be their forever drama that they have between each other. Even though it's entertaining and we just had an iconic moment with Nicole calling Larsa the shadiest of them all. Like, ooh, 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 ooh. So we get into a scene with Marisol and Alexia. They're having, like, I don't know, breakfast, cocktails, getting ready, pretty much glam. Not breakfast cocktails. They're just having, like, some cocktails just before they go into the evening together for dinner. So they're pre-gaming pretty much. And I like to see that because I like to see the girls eat and see what they're having and, you know, have their little kiki. And, okay, so Marisol, she says that she threw the stones that Julia gave her off the balcony. And I'm like, damn, Marisol. Like, I can understand. Actually, you do what you gotta do. I understand why she did that. Because if I felt like someone gave me a gift and it can have bad intentions, I'm not gonna keep it. I'm not gonna keep it for long, you know? It's the right thing to do because you don't want to feel like whatever that gift is holding you or tying you to a certain situation. So I can understand Marisol. And, you know, Marisol don't think that Julia is witchy per se. It's not because of Julia at all. I think it's because of Adriana. She's like, because Adriana has been such a shitty friend. Like, she's actually more suspicious of Adriana than she is of Julia. And I think so too, because look, we didn't realize how much issue and friction they had in their relationship. They go back for such a long time and Julia is fairly new. And so to kind of see this unravel there, I think Julia is just by a bystander getting injured, but the real issue is with Adriana. And you can see this. I don't think Adriana, she's not a main housewife. She's still a friend of, I think. I'm not too sure. But she was in previous season, she was a friend of, and Julia was a housewife. So I feel like maybe Adriana feels like the reason why she's in that role is because her girls are not backing her up and giving the support that she wants. So we get to the dinner and it's a rage release ritual and the girls are not excited about it. They're tired of any witchy activity. They don't want to do any more rituals or anything spiritual. They're tired. They feel worse. They feel like they have not been improving. But the only person who's really excited about it is Kiki. I'm like, okay, Kiki, you know, Kiki really saves us in these episodes because she is just a ball of fun. And Kiki is like, the release is going to be like ejaculating. And I'm like, Kiki, are we going through a Kiki moment? I love these Kiki moments. Kiki is definitely down for the experience. She's excited. She wants to fart while she screams. And we all are just laughing with whatever comes out from her mouth. And then Marisol points out the emotions that are coming out of Julia's face. Julia's like, girl, I'm just listening. I'm just vibing. And, you know, Julia, she finally gets in her housewife moment. And she said to Marisol, if you receive my gift. And I'm like, yes, Julia, yes, let's follow up with this. I want to know, is she going to tell you what she did with it? And Marisol says she received it, but she didn't touch it. And, you know, Nicole in her confessional is like, girl, this is Julia, the person who rescued animals. She does not have any witchy vibes towards you at all. You're doing too much. And, you know, Julia, she doesn't accept that. She shoots back and says, oh, you are scared of my gift. You're afraid of my gift, so you should be afraid of the cocktail that someone may have put something in it. And, you know, Marisol is like, girl, this is just a cocktail. This is just a cocktail. Don't be weird. And Julia said, well, it's just a song. Don't be weird back. And Adriana, she chimes back in the situation. And I'm like, Adriana, Julia could stand for herself. It's good that you're being a friend. I guess Adriana wants what she does for Julia for herself too as well. Adriana, she says, it's just good vibes. It's just good vibes. And Julia, she's not even jumping on board with what Adriana's saying, but she addresses to Alexia that you're giving me that weird face again. It's like a barracuda look. And Alexia is like, a barracuda? What's a barracuda? And the girls explain to her what a barracuda is, a fish. And she's like, girls, I know it's a fish, but what that got to do with me? Is what she's trying to say. Is she calling you ugly? What's she calling you? And it's just so funny because Alexia, she claims that Julia just have rage issues. And I'm like, Alexia, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Alexia, you yelled at everyone on this table. Everyone. You had an issue with everyone. Can I be Julia that you're saying have rage issues? And Julia at the table, she says that it's her pleasure and she's not going to stop. But in her confessional, I needed her to say what she said on her confessional to Alexia's face, okay? Julia, she goes through a rundown of all the people Alexia was raging towards. I needed you to do that in front of Alexia's face, okay? That would have been a moment for you, Julia. Come on, but you're getting better. Julia's getting better. And Gertie, she's fading in the background because Gertie, I haven't heard not a peep. Not a peep from you, Gertie. Where are you? But Alexia is like so shocked. She's like looking around the table and the girls are passing around the phone. And she's like, girls, you part of this conversation too? And Lisa, she's like, no, I needed to see what a barracuda looked like. Apparently Lisa wanted to make sure she knew what a barracuda was. And the girls are laughing. They're trying to make light of the situation. And does Alexia look like a barracuda? I don't know. The way the editors are, they're so shady. They put a side-by-side picture of Alexia and a barracuda. And the way they freeze frame on Alexia's face is trying to make you think that she looks like a barracuda. But I don't think it's an ugly fish. Guys, what do you guys think? Nuh-uh. But anyways, back into the episode. Lisa is like, she wishes she had these problems. And I'm thinking like, oh, I feel for you, Lisa, but I'm happy laughing about it. That's actually a good sign. And Nicole is like, oh, do you wish when they called your house tacky? And the girls started laughing more. And Lisa's laughing about the situation because that used to be such a big problem. Like, they legit fought about this at the reunion last year. So stupid. It makes you realize how small your issues are, you know? And we get a flashback of the reunion about the cheap tiles that Alexia was pointing out. Also, Nicole was pointing out. And she's saying, oh, that's not my style. It's so glitz and glam. And Lisa was defending that. And that was her biggest issue. So the girls, they bonded over that. And they started laughing. What I did like about this scene is that we had a moment where Larsa and Julia was bonding over drinks. Because Julia was wondering what drinks is she going to have. And she was suggesting wine. But Larsa's like, no. Wine makes me fall asleep. I'm like, yes, girls. Talk. I would love to see their two worlds come together in a way. Because I feel like they should have an opportunity to get to know each other outside of Adriana. And Adriana doesn't always have to be a center of that, you know? So Adriana points out that a lot of the bad things that happen to Julia as well. So Julia cannot be the source of being of these girls' issues. That Julia is not the witch, pretty much. And it takes a turn against Adriana with being a thing, an issue with her and Larsa, because Larsa tries to tell her, like, say what you said to us in the spa, like, just say what you said, trying to, it seems like, help the situation. But Adriana understands the situation as more as Larsa being a snitch and actually saying things out of context. But Larsa, she's standing on what she said. She's like, just say to the girls that you felt excluded from the situation. And, Marisol, actually, she says sorry to Adriana about her being excluded from the birthday, which is the right thing to do. It's fair. But she kind of did a quiet, I'm sorry, then a loud, I'm sorry, here's your apology moment. But she gives a but to her sorry. She says pretty much, but you didn't have to throw it about my face about an ex that ended out in a toxic situation. Like, you didn't have to do that. That was not necessary, and that's fair. But I don't like how Alexia, she jumps into the situation to back up her friend, because, Alexia always going to ride for Marisol. Marisol sometimes ride for Alexia, but Alexia always going to ride for Marisol. And that leads to Adriana getting snappy. And it's like 3 girls against 1. You have Larsa, Marisol, and Alexia going at it with Adriana. And I'm like, what the hell? I thought we made some way. I thought things were settling. But instead, I'm so happy for this. Kiki gets pulled into this. And I'm like, Kiki saved the day. Kiki, she jokes around, tries to make the girls laugh. Say, yeah, if you call me this, like you call me the B word, it's just our light and games pretty much. And Adriana says that, that's the thing with Larsa. She's trying to make it seem like that Adriana called Marisol the B word when it wasn't even like that. No, yeah, the B word, it wasn't even like that. That Larsa takes things out of context. So Adriana, she gets so frustrated and she throws water across the table. It doesn't touch anybody, but she throws it across the table. I'm like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? First of all, most of the water got on her. And she had to take some paper to wipe off her back. I'm like, girl, that's good for you. That's what you get. That's what you get for trying to have a moment like you're Teresa Giudice. You're not Teresa Giudice, okay? Leave Teresa to throw the stuff off the table. Leave it to Lisa Rinna for throwing water or wine glass to the table. Like, let that be them. That's not you, and that's not your moment. This is not an iconic moment. This is not legendary, for sure. And so Adriana, she throws the water across the table. And, this activates Gertie. And I'm concerned for Gertie. Because while I'm not saying Gertie to be activated for every scene, but that's pretty much the second time we're actually seeing her involved in the situations of it all. So Gertie, her contribution was gathering the healer to come, having the healer to come to pull Adriana away to help heal. And that was pretty much her moment. But what really stole the show for me was Kiki. Kiki was like, she is too classy for this. And she walks off to go by the beach and go pee on the beach. I'm like, girl, that is not classy. That is not classy. But I understood you, because I know these girls, they talk a lot. And I'm like, these scenes must be too long. But I thought that was so funny. So super, super funny. And I felt for Kiki, because Kiki just wants to have a good time. She just wants to have a good time. So Adriana is pretty much off to the side with the healer, and she's having a meltdown. This is a meltdown that was actually concerning, because it was like tears that was coming out, her breath pattern, and knowing that she has cholesterol, like she could have a stroke. Like, I was concerned for Adriana nonetheless. And pretty much she's screaming that these are fair weather friends, and that what's wrong, why don't they like her? And she felt like she would be found dead, rotting next to her dog. Like, she doesn't have people on her side. So she has a large fear of abandonment, a large fear of being alone. Like, she actually views and call her friends family. So people like this, you have to understand and really be there for them in a way that they feel secure. And she obviously doesn't feel secure. This was such a sad scene, and she's talking to the healer, but this healer doesn't really know Adriana, and she was just doing what she does best, was just listen to her vent. But I was really concerned with Adriana, and she was having a moment where she's having tears come out, and the girls are just sitting and just looking at her like, this is stupid, this is crazy. And Julia, she's the type of person that she says that she doesn't blindly defend Adriana, but she understands Adriana. She understands that Adriana is a single mother. She has to raise kids on her own, and she has a lot of hardships already. So why be mean to her? But, surprising enough, out of all the girls, it was Lisa the one to come to her and talk to her and give her a sense of comfort, because Adriana needed a hug. And obviously the healer doesn't know her like that to understand how much space to give Adriana, but Adriana, she needed a hug for sure. And she states again, friends are family to her, and the other girls, they started to come along and come to comfort her, to make her feel okay. And I'm like, this scene was a lot. She even cries in her confessional, saying that these girls feel like they're so perfect, and they put on how perfect things are for them. But that's not true, but that's her perspective, so we have to let her vent. But Adriana, I feel like she does have a group of friends. It's just she has to communicate better with them. And Larsa, she actually makes up with Adriana to say that you need to open up and to share that we're here for you. That's not what they want to do. They don't want to hurt Adriana. So the healer stood up and did what it's supposed to do, and facilitate this situation that we're supposed to do. And she says, okay, we're gonna go by the beach, and if you ever feel inadequate about someone, if anyone has made you feel less than, just go take that to the shore and scream and shake and do all this. And everyone's looking at her like, huh, what are we doing here? Even I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't know. They don't need this type of situation. First we have flamingo yoga, now this. I'm like, okay. So the girls, they're good participants, and they participate, and they stand by the beach, and they all yelled. I'm like, this is so uncomfortable to watch. All of the girls are joking. I'm like, wait, no, not all the girls. Kiki, she took it seriously, okay? Kiki was the only one who was so into it that it was hilarious for the other girls. All the other girls are laughing. Julia is just confused. Julia is like, huh? She's just super confused. Gertie, she's coughing, trying to get ready to yell. Lisa is yelling at Lenny. And Larsa, she's just smiling. I'm like, okay, as long as the girls are not fighting, it's a good situation. And Nicole is like looking at how crazy they all are. Like, Nicole is like, what kind of group of friends am I in right now? Do I even belong? But they all are good sports, and they yell. And pretty much they're all having a moment, and Lisa is talking to the healer, saying she's not really into it. And Nicole is looking over at Kiki, saying that looks like she's possessed, and Kiki is going into it, so into it. But Lisa has a one-to-one with the healer, and she's like, she doesn't feel like this is the best way for her. And then the girls playing around fell into Adriana on her foot. And now Adriana was crying how the girls broke her foot. And Alexia is like, ay, ay, ay. She just wants attention. And, and the attention you always get is always negative, which is a trend for Adriana, not gonna lie. But, Adriana, knowing how hurt she is about being alone, I can understand that this is the best strategy for her to get attention. So Alexia's like so upset, so over the situation with Adriana, and she's not here for her. Pretty much saying that she's spraying for. It's like, come on, they were just playing. It's not that serious. It's not something that should be so concerned of. Like for all the girls to go over and say, "Oh, your foot is broken." Your foot is not broken. To me, it looks swollen. Like it looked like it was swelling up. But is Adriana pretending? Who knows? I don't know. I can't assume that. But Julia, she is seeing it firsthand for herself. That the girls are not really there for Adriana how they should be there for her. And Adriana pretty much had the support of the staff there helping her. Nicole was actually nice. Nicole, she's a doctor. Well, she was doing her job. Nicole was doing her job. When someone is injured or they need medical attention, there goes Nicole doing what she does best, okay? And so the staff and Nicole is helping Adriana. Adriana, she has like a stick that she's walking like Jesus, and it's like, look at Adriana. It's like Jesus went down. She looks like Jesus. And I'm like, dang. The healer is the one who actually picks her up to sit her down so she can have medical attention. And I'm like, come on. And the other girls are like, do you want to go to my rooms for like drinks and stuff like that? And Nicole was the one to be like, no, I'll stay here, give her medical attention. And it's just so sad. It's like, dang, your friend just broke, like, could potentially, even if you think she's exaggerating, at least be there for them to wrap the foot. Like, just watch them wrap the foot. Show some compassion towards her. But, I guess this is cried too many times that they don't believe you anymore. Cried wolf so many times. Like, this is how it is for Adriana, and it's quite sad to see that. And it's like, dang, they didn't even go to see her off to her room. Like, she had to be carried to her room, and the girls didn't even know if she made it to her room okay, or if she needed more assistance, like maybe some drinks or something. But damn, I can understand that. And Adriana can play a role in this, those girls can play a role in that. But man, oh my God. If anything, Marisol is happy that, she threw away the stones, because this was so much of an accident. It's like too much weird stuff going on. The girls are over it for sure. For sure. Next, we have the next day, which is the last day at the Bahamas. And pretty much Lisa is packing up her stuff to go. She doesn't want to stay on the trip much longer because she doesn't know how Lenny plans to proceed forward. He could possibly use her taking so much vacation against her in court if they go through with this divorce. So she's just thinking not to be away from her kids for too long. So she's actually packing up, leaving away to go back home. But she said she will be back. She did enjoy her stay there. I wonder how, in what capacity she'll be back, with a new man, with Lenny. Who knows what's in store for her, especially how she sees how her future is going. We then have a moment where all the girls, they get back together and they're in Nicole and Gertie's room. Pretty much, Larsa, she tells the group that, she had told her daughter how their stay was going, and it was just laughable to her. So it's just nice to see that they can joke and have a good time about what went on the trip. And, Adriana, she's rolling in a wheelchair with Julia, and they get in front of the door of Nicole and Gertie's room where they're all in. But they don't enter yet because they hear them talking and they wonder, are they talking about them? And they come to find out they're talking about them. The girls are saying that Nicole, she actually called the shop and she found out that it was actually not a botanica store, but actually a gift shop that sells crystals and flowers. So she felt like, oh, it's just some misunderstanding. Like Julia really thinks that she went into botanica store when she didn't. And that doesn't mean anything to Marisol because Marisol doesn't care. She doesn't want to entertain any gifts that have any healing powers, anything, any spiritual connections or anything like that. And I still understand her that because, you know, even if she didn't think she was in a botanica store, the intent in her heart, she thought she was. So that's still powerful. That should be powerful enough, you know. And so the girls, hearing that the other girls are talking about them, they finally enter the room. And the girls are laughing at how extra Adriana is being. And I'm like, Adriana is extra. She is doing too much. So they go for their boat ride to get onto the private island. And on the boat ride, onto the boat, Adriana's like, is there any special accommodations for the disabled? I'm like, oh my God, Adriana. You're not disabled. But fortunately enough, there's people to help her get into the boat. And on the boat, they're listening to Adriana's song. So they're listening to Adriana's song, dance to Adriana's song, and that makes Adriana so happy. When they got to the private island, the girls are having fun, but Adriana feels uncared for and a feeling of being disregarded because no one has asked to check in how she's doing. She feels neglected. Her whole well-being feels neglected. And Adriana makes it a point to say to the girls how happy she was that the girls sang her song and was dancing to it. But the girls, of course, they never doubted her musical capabilities. The only issue with her is about other things aside from that. And Adriana takes that to offense. So she's like, oh, no one took notice of my broken foot. And everyone's like, girl, you're doing too much. Like, we're tired of you playing the sympathy card. And Adriana's like trying to say that she's not a victim. If anything, you know, she's going through this accident in which she cannot enjoy this trip. And she goes to make a comparison and she says, accidents has consequences. And you know this, like with Frankie and Alexia goes off. Is like, how you can compare Frankie to this accident here that you have? Like, come on. All the girls, they took pause and gagged about it, but Adriana, she stood by what she said. It's like as if she's looking at the girls confused of what they did not comprehend with what she said. And Alexia freaks out. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. This is bad. This is super bad. And I'm like, we knew the trip was not going to end well, but I was hoping that was like in the middle of the trip and they had an opportunity to recover and end the trip nicely. But on the last day this happened, oh my God, that is too much. That is too much. It ends here, so we're waiting for the next episode. And I just thought this episode had a lot of issues, a lot of drama. But I rated pretty high. I think Miami is killing. The Miami franchise, their season is going so well. I cannot say anything below an 8. This was a good episode. I was happy to see Larsa get along with people that she's been having issues for the longest. With Julia, with who else? With Audrey. Well, Adriana, she tried to make it up with Adriana. She has a love-hate relationship. She makes up with Adriana, and then she fights again with Adriana. And I'm like, pick. Finally, pick. But overall, this has been a good franchise. I really enjoyed Housewives of Miami, and I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. If you do, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe and join us next week. I'd love to see you guys then. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.